Now, I want to talk about a couple things first. Here is Tara and Tara's tip sheet for, I'll add that to the chat for screencasting, because I want to talk about 3 different things with screencasting. I want to show you how to use the tool, sure. But I also want to talk about just screencasting, like the thing of screencasting, because you're going to want to use this tool, and any tool that you want to use, you want to be effective, right? And that goes without saying, but at the same time, like, I've seen teachers teach with in their classrooms, right? And a lot of you have got just a ton of energy, a ton of personality, and you're interacting with the kids, and the kids really enjoy being there. And then you detach yourself from your classroom, and you turn on the camera, and you don't do that anymore. Like, you think of yourselves as online teachers, and you talk like online teachers, and you kind of present like online teachers, and it's not as energetic, it's not as engaging, it just hasn't been working as well. So I want to talk a little bit about how to make a decent screencast, because I'm actually going to stop using the term screencasting to some degree, because I don't want you guys to think of yourselves as screencasters or online instructors. I want you to think of yourselves as YouTubers or podcasters. And I know that sounds a little cheesy, but go with me here. It won't be by the end. Well, it might be, but it's going to be effective, okay, in my opinion. Okay, so I am going to share my screen, and let's talk a little bit about Screencastify. Okay, so here's the tip sheet, and it's got all kinds of good suggestions here. Tara's been leading our screencasting sessions, and what's more, she's got the video for her virtual sessions that were out all summer. Okay, once again, screencasting in a nutshell, right? Anytime you are recording yourself like this and showing the screen of your computer, that's screencasting, okay? And there may be reasons you want to do this for a 30-second move. So like one of the teachers that I support had a question, and she didn't know how to necessarily word the question or how to turn what she was seeing and struggling with into an email. So she just flipped on Screencastify and talked through the things she was struggling with and sent me the video and said, please watch this video, I have a question. And it was like 40 seconds. Like, it really wasn't it was very easy to show me what the problem was, but it would have been very difficult to word the problem in an email, okay? So in a sense, this tool can be valuable for all kinds of things, not just teaching and learning. The other issue is some of you are going to want to use this to demonstrate things that otherwise might be tricky to demonstrate live, or that you think the students may need to refer back to time and time and time again, okay? Another idea for doing this isn't instructional at all. So it's possible that you record a Monday morning message or something like that, a Friday morning message or whatever, okay? Now, that's your opportunity to get your personality to the students a little bit, right? To do that relationship building piece, to let them know who you are. Because all of those little pieces that we're used to being able to do face-to-face are kind of missing right now. And it's going to be a little trickier. And that's one of the reasons I say, if you think of yourself not as an online teacher, because online teachers have a reputation of being kind of boring when they talk, and turn yourself into a podcaster or a YouTuber, it just changes the way you think about it, okay? It changes the way you think about it. You might turn your thing into segments as opposed to, today we're going to talk about this. Or maybe you're talking about something that is of more interest to the students than your content, right? It's possible your content doesn't carry the day as much as you would like for every single lesson. And so you use that screencasting time, or at least that Monday morning message, or either your weekly push or whatever we're going to call it, I would give it a fun name, provides an opportunity for the students to want to come see something. They're going to, if you do this well, you have a way of getting them to want to click into the Google Classroom, a way to want to see what you're going to do next, a way to build some anticipation, and even little things like, all right, guys, and I'm going to ask you a question at the end of this, and tomorrow I'm going to answer it. And anybody who gets it between now and the time the next episode drops I will give you a prize or a something. I don't know what your prizes would be, but like, you see what I'm saying? Like, you can drive some engagement that way by using the screencasting tool. Okay. All right. So here we go. So let's take a look at Screencastify and what it is. Okay. Now, Screencastify is a Chrome extension. Okay. It's a Chrome extension. Now, the extensions are the tools that live up here in the browser window. Okay. And you've got to be in Chrome to use this. Okay. So if you're used to using Safari or Internet Explorer or Brave or Opera or any of these others, you may or may not be able to add Screencastify to it. Okay. And you go to screencastify.com and you click add to Chrome. Now, you notice mine's not going to let me do it because it's already installed. But it's just a simple couple clicks, okay? And then it will show up there as that little arrow with the little camera in it, okay? And it's got that kind of, I don't know, salmon color to it, that kind of pale orange. So now, a couple things that Chrome has changed in the last couple weeks, and get used to hearing me say that because they're updating things all the time now. This little puzzle piece up here, I don't know if you can see that. It's kind of little. But up here at the end, there's a puzzle piece. That's not an extension. That opens up all of the extensions that you have added. So now what they're trying to do, and I don't know if you've seen a presentation with my colleague Phil Booth, but he has got so many Chrome extensions. They like extend all the way out to like here. And he has just this little itty bitty little spot to type in his web browser. Okay. What they did here is they've given you the opportunity to hide some of those so that they're still working, but they're not visible. Okay. So you can click that little push pin if you want some of these hidden. If you're like, man, I don't need that little rocket ship, that Mercury reader. I don't need that all the time. So you can hide that, or maybe you do need it all the time. But I certainly don't need the Adobe Acrobat up there. That one I don't need, right? It's these kinds of things that you have control over. So what happens is when you add a new extension, Chrome is going to default to hiding it in that little box. So when you add it, it won't immediately show up there. You got to click on that little puzzle piece, find Screencastify, and push the little blue push pin so that it always is up there. Okay. Now, when you're ready to go live and record something, you're going to click on that. Now, the first time through, there's going to be some login stuff. Okay. The first time through, there's going to be some login stuff. So when you click on it, it's going to start with, hey, welcome to Screencastify. It's going to be really cool. We're super glad you're here. It's going to be amazing. And you would go through the login procedure, log in with your school Gmail account, your @waverlyschools.net account, pair your Google account, and it'll walk you through kind of just like an introduction. Hey, let's take a look around. Hey, we're glad you're here. Hey, da-da-da-da. There'll be like a little thing with little confetti flying around. And then you'll want to record your first video. Now, when you're ready to record that, I want to show you what that looks like, and then I want to show you kind of how it works in the video, and then I want to show you where the video goes. Okay? So when you're ready to record, you'll click this. Now, you've got the option to record anything that can be on your computer screen. Okay? And as we explored with a couple of teachers at the high school, if you can get your doc cam onto your computer screen, you can record that. Okay? I mean, anything that you can get on it will record what's on your screen. So that's any web browser, that's OneNote, that's Google Docs, that's if you want to talk kids through the Google Classroom page, you could do that. Anything you can get on there, you can use. Okay? Now, you can see I have not upgraded. So mine says 5-minute limit. Now, a quick disclaimer on that. I would, if I were you, stick to recording videos that are in that 5 to 7 minute range. Okay? Most students do not have the practice of watching videos that are really, really long. They just don't have that practice. Okay? they're tuning out, they're multitasking. They may leave the video running, okay? But if you've got to talk intense content for more than 5 minutes or so, I would say cut the video at about 5 to 7 minutes and record it in 2 parts. So see if you can meaningfully break a 15-minute bit of content into 2 or 3 chunks and record them separately. This will not add meaningful amounts of extra work to your time, to the time it takes to create them, because the process is all the same. You start the video, do your thing, stop the video. Start the video, do your thing, stop the video. There's some naming and some other things in there. It's not going to be crazy. But at the same time, I would, it's hard when you've got a 30-minute video and in there are like 4 or 5 individual components, any one of which the kids could be struggling with, and they would need to go back and watch the video, but they don't know where in the video to go watch. And now you've got them rewatching 30 minutes of content, and they're actually okay with most of it. You know, you really just need them to watch minute 18 to minute 21. You see what I'm saying? And so being able to chunk that out into individual videos can really provide a lot of help on the back end when they're being used as teaching tools. And it isn't, I don't believe it adds a meaningful amount of extra labor to you, a couple of extra clicks, but nothing crazy in my opinion. Okay, so what you would do when you're ready is you're going to record. Now, this stuff is technical stuff. You just need to make sure it's working. So you see that little green line there? When I don't talk, it stays down. And when I do talk, it goes up. And that means that my mic is working. So you would want to double check, just as you're doing this, just talk and make sure that your mic is working and that it's picking something up, okay? The second thing is your webcam, which most of the time is this. When it's on and live, there'll be a little light that comes on. At least that's what it does on mine, to let you know that you're being recorded, okay? All right, down here is more options. You've got some of these things, drawing tools. If you're gonna wanna scribble on your screen while you're recording, that is something that you can do. A countdown is nice, depending on how much prep time you feel like you need to kind of get in the zone before the camera goes live. If you have 3 seconds is enough, or if like you need more like 10 to kind of work yourself up into your character a little bit, okay, you can do that. Or you can turn the countdown off and you're just like, I want to click record and just whatever. And then the system audio. System audio is nice if you are going to be doing something that they're on your computer that's making noises that you need to hear. So in addition to recording what's coming into your microphone, recording a background song, or if you're going to be playing a short clip from a YouTube video, you can record that. But if you don't tell it to record the system audio, all you'll get is pictures. And sometimes you'll want that and sometimes you won't. Okay, so that's the kind of thing where you'll want to make a conscious decision about whether or not you want the system audio going or not. Okay. Okay. Also, if you're going to run the system audio, you'll want to run a sample real quick. Like I want to show this YouTube video and I want them to hear it. I just want to show a short clip. So I'm going to hit play on it and run it a little bit just to catch the audio, the difference between your vocal audio and the audio in the system, just to make sure if you need to turn that audio up or down. Because I've done it before where like my voice is coming through at one level and then all of a sudden I play the YouTube video and it's way quiet or it's super loud and then the kids are like, it's just jarring. Like you want to try and get that. And that's something that if you just run a simple test real quick, you can just run a test video. Okay, guys, now we're going to go to the video real quick and then hit play on the video and record about 10 seconds and see how it sounds. Okay. So another thing is, what do you want to record? So you can record just a browser tab, which means you would record like this tab, and that would be the one you record. And then if you click off of it, nothing will happen. It'll stay on that tab, okay? Which you may want to do. I usually go with desktop, which is going to be whatever is on the screen. And the reason that I do that is it's the easiest for me to manage. It's the easiest for me to manage. Now I don't have to worry about what tab I'm in and all this other stuff. It's just whatever's on my screen, the camera's recording. And that's the easiest for me to think about in my head. And then you can also do webcam so that all it's recording is what's coming through your webcam, okay? Which might be a thing you want to do if you're demonstrating something. So if you're a music teacher, an art teacher, or something like that, and you have to actually demonstrate a technique, and so the little picture in the bottom with like a blank Word document taking up most of the screen isn't really very useful in that instance. And so what you may want to do then is go webcam only and record yourself in the web, just you, okay? And that's an option that you have. So now I'm going to go ahead and hit record here, and it's not going to go live yet. Okay, so this is what I'm seeing on my other screen right now. So this is the little screen that Screencastify has given me. Okay, so that's what I'm going to record. It's going to be down here. Now, if I can move it up here if I want, or I can move it over here. So like if you're going to show the students how to share a Google Doc, it would not make much sense for you to have your camera right here, because this is where you're going to be doing most of your work. And so you'll be blocking yourself. So you get some options as to how that is, and you also get some options as to how large it is. So if you think because of the nature of your recording that you really want yourself taking up a good quarter of the screen, which you may, you have the freedom to do that. You also have the option to shrink it down, and you also have the option to make it go away. Now, I would caution you against that. Those of you who are a little bit more self-conscious, I would caution you against that, because it really does help your students learn when they can see you teach, okay? So I would say err on the side of showing yourself in the video if at all possible, okay? Because otherwise it's just your voice, and that's just not as effective. You're like really, and I know I don't want to sound like too like cheesy about this, but what makes the students learn your content isn't the content being said. It's you teaching your content. Like, so I want them to make, I would want to make sure they're still connecting you to the delivery of the experience, as opposed to just like, hey guys, here's a new poem or something, you know? So, okay, so this is what I'm seeing. Now you get to pick what it is you are looking at. Now I get this 2-screen deal because I've got 2 monitors. I've got my monitor here, that's my laptop, and then I've got a monitor over there, and that's my desktop external monitor, okay? So you get to pick what you're going to choose. Now I would choose this this screen here, screen 2, okay? So when I click on that, it turns blue, or it highlights a little blue border around it. And then when I click share, I'm live, okay? I'm live. It's counting me down. Hey guys, welcome to geometry. I'm so excited you guys are here. We are going to definitely get into geometry, but before we get there, geometry is all about logic, okay? Which is a word that gets thrown around a lot, but doesn't necessarily always get explained right. Okay, so I've talked enough. Now I'm going to stop sharing. So there's this little border down here that says Screencastify screen recorder is sharing your screen and audio. Stop sharing. Okay, so when I do that, it stops the video. Okay, so now a new tab has opened up, and that's my video playing. Okay, now right now it's muted. So up here is the title. This is what the title is going to be in your Google Drive. All right, so I might change this to Geometry Podcast Episode 1. Okay, you're going to make a better name than that, but go with me here. Okay, so that's going to end up living in your Google Drive. Now, you do have an editor. You do have an onboard editor if you want to change some stuff. Like if you need to clip some things in and out, you know, like if you at the beginning didn't know that the recording had started, and so you sit there with kind of like a, oh, we're going. Okay, here we go. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's okay. You can clip that off. Like, if you should make a mistake. I would say this though, if you're recording a 4 or 5 minute video is all, and you find yourself needing to do lots of edits, it's probably more worth your time to just delete the whole video and re-record, because the editing game can take a long, slow time. Like, you can get lost in the weeds editing stuff out, because if you haven't done lots of recording before, and some of you have and some of you haven't, but if you haven't, you're going to notice all kinds of little hiccups that you're used to because you hear yourself talk all the time. But like, you're going to watch yourself and you're going to have lots of uhs and ums and long pauses, and it's okay. So it's sort of like, right? Like, that stuff's not bad. Those are the imperfections that your students will find endearing. And I don't mean that in a way to be silly or anything. Now, is that why you want them watching the videos? Well, no, but in the end, do we really care? it can be difficult to tell what is going to turn into the thing that makes your class unique to you and what makes your students love coming there and watching the videos, you know? Okay, so like I was saying before, if you really want to get into the editing game, you can. I haven't spent a lot of time with the editing game, but it's not really a game, but like it's going to bring this in and it's going to talk you through it, okay? And you can, like I said, you can chunk videos together, you know? So like if you wanted to record a clip outdoors, okay, so let's suppose that you're teaching something and the way that the leaves are changing in the fall becomes part of a talking point for you, and you want to record a video just on like your phone or something with the fall leaves behind you. You could pull a move like that and import the video. I haven't messed much with that, but that's something that you can do. You can make edits in the timeline. You can chunk things out. If you sneeze in the middle, there's a way that you can clip all that out. Like I said, if you're getting into doing too much of this stuff, we're not going to have time for this, especially early. So I would say get used to doing one-take stuff. So if you want to do that, you can. Now, you can push this thing directly to Google Classroom right now if you want to. And the reason that you can do that is because it's in your Google Drive. So let me show you where this video ends up. So this video ends up, you see how it's sitting right here? These are my recents. That's not where it lives, but Google is trying to say, hey, oh, you just made a video. You probably want to deal with it. So I'm going to leave it right up here so it's easy for you to get at. Okay? Where it goes is in a Screencastify folder that is going to get created when you add your account. So when you pair your Google account, that Screencastify folder will get created. Okay? Now, I have mine in this app-specific folder. Yours won't be there. Yours won't say app-specific. You can make it do that if you want, but because I have folders for Pear Deck and Google Classroom and TechSmith in addition to Screencastify. So I like to keep those all together. But Screencastify initially will be sitting right out here in your main Google Drive. So inside that folder are all the videos that you make. And this video gets renamed according to the name you gave it out here. So you see how it said Geometry Podcast Episode 1? That's what it's called here. This one I recorded for a training out in Weberville. I never gave that one a name. So it remained Untitled August 19th, 2020 at 1:15 p.m. Okay. So this is where those videos live. At this point, it becomes a file in your Google Drive. So you have the ability to share it like you would share anything. You can move it around or rename it. You can do anything that you need to do with it at that point. So if you're recording, let's suppose that you and your teaching partners are all kind of recording similar things, and it's just kind of like first person to make the video does it for the group. Okay, I don't think this is a bad strategy, particularly if you're on like a team of third grade teachers and all of you are teaching the same basic stuff for reading, street, and go math and stuff like that anyway. Okay, so there may be value in you saying, all right, I just recorded lesson 3.1 and then share it with your team and then they can borrow it. Okay, that's not a bad strategy. I know it sort of gets in the way of me saying your students like to hear you teach it, but there's also an efficiency element that we want to stick to as well. So you've got to kind of balance the needs that you have. And as much as it would be really, really nice if we all created a bunch of really awesome content in our own face and our own voice, we may not have time for that all the time. So being a little pragmatic is a good thing. All right. So now, once you're here, you can push this directly to YouTube. You can share this out to Google Classroom because it lives in Screencastify's like cloud spot. You can get a shareable link and post that directly. If you click on share to Google Classroom, it's going to bring this up. It's going to bring the little itty bitty little window up, and it's going to say share to Classroom. So you choose your class, and then it's going to say what do you want to do with it. So if it's an announcement, like if it's a Monday morning thing, you may not have an assignment with it. You may just choose make it an announcement, and then it'll live out on your stream. If it's an instructional video and you have like an exit ticket that you're going to want to attach to it, then you could say create an assignment, and then it'll live in your classwork. So how you use it, that's totally up to you, but you have that flexibility here living off of this share to classroom button. Okay, so let's suppose I'm just going to create an announcement, click go, and here's all of my announcement. It's just the standard announcement dialog box, the same way as you would see in Google Classroom. Okay, everyone, check this out. I did a thing. All right, and then you could either schedule that to come out later, or you could hit post and it would go live right now. And then if you choose, it'll say you have posted this to your class. You can click view in a new tab. It'll open up that Google Classroom and show you what that looks like on the live site. Okay. Now, if you are the type who's like me and you do your screencasting in sort of big chunks, so like I may not, like me personally, I may not record a video every day or every week. I will get into the point where I've got a couple lined up and I'll just spend an entire afternoon screencasting. Okay, which that's just the way my workflow works. It doesn't have to be the way your workflow works, but it works for me, right? So in that type of instance, I may not share to Google Classroom through the Screencastify. I may not click that button. I may just pile them up here in my Screencastify folder and then attach them to Google Classroom assignments or announcements as I need them. So if I wanted to do that, I would go here to a new announcement, or you could go over to classwork and make an assignment. Click add. Go to Google Drive. And then Google is going to want to do recent. It's going to put your recent stuff you made up first. So it's going to have that video in this instant, because I just made it. It's going to live right there as the first thing I see. If that's not the first thing I see, because you recorded this 2 weeks ago and you've done other things since then, you'd go to My Drive and you would find that Screencastify folder, which I know mine to be in the app-specific folder. And then I would hit Screencastify, and then I would choose that video and hit Insert. And now that video lives here. Now, you also have the option, if you choose to do this, to push it up to YouTube, which is totally up to you. I am fairly comfortable with YouTube. I don't try and talk people who are uncomfortable with YouTube into using it. But the reason that I like YouTube, and I'll just make a quick little pitch, is YouTube is built as a way to get any kind of video to any kind of device. Everybody's using it right now for everything. Your people are installing ceiling fans and pickling jalapenos and changing their tires on the side of the road on YouTube. And so there's a market incentive, and I saw our business teacher on this, so I know she is going to get excited when I start talking about market incentives and all this other stuff. There's a market incentive to make sure that a device can smoothly and easily, consistently play YouTube videos. And every device that our kids are going to have will be able to play YouTube videos. And they're closed captioned and all these other things. Plus you get view counts and all that other stuff. So adding a video to YouTube is, in my opinion, a way to ensure consistent, effective accessibility of the video, which may not always be true if you leave it in Google Drive. Now, that having been said, Google Drive does a pretty good job. And so if you're uncomfortable pushing your videos to YouTube, you don't have to. And we can wait and see if you run into issues. We can address those issues as they come up, because your students might all be using the school-issued Chromebooks and they play the videos fine and you don't have an issue. Okay, let's take a look at the drawing tool. Good one. Thank you for reminding me of that, Lisa. It's another one of those things, right? Imperfections. This will happen. All right, so share audio. I am recording. Oh, 2, 1, bing. All right, so here are my my drawing tools down here. Okay, so you see this little gray box popped up because I told it to. Now, you've got a couple of different things. You've got the whole spectrum of colors here, and I think you're just drawing. Yeah, you're just drawing over the top of this like this. So you could say, oh, yeah, look at that. That you want to pick that one right there. And it's not like a wildly sophisticated like recorder. but you can, or a drawing mechanism, it's just with your mouse and keyboard, but this is how you use the colors, and maybe you know, put a little smiley face right there, and you say, there we go, like this. And then you can do little erases. It looks like it erases over the top. It doesn't just delete the whole thing as a single entity. So, oh, wipe screw. Oh, you click that button and everything goes away. That's nice. So anyway, you can get your telestrator on. Like if you were watching a YouTube video of science or some kind of process playing out, you wanted to pause the video and draw over the top and say, what I want you guys to look at is this piece right here. You know what I'm saying? And then you can wipe everything clean and then move the video on. You know what I'm saying? So that's how that would work. Thank you for bringing that up. All right, so here we go. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Okay, so first we talked about not being afraid to let your personality out, and also do not be afraid to use the screencasting tool as a way to do the relationship building, get to know you yourself, okay? So I've known people who part of their shtick is goofy hats, okay? I knew a guy who said he had a tie. He had so many ties, he could wear a different tie to work every day out of the school year and never repeat, okay? Okay, I mean, I'm not sure why you would want that many ties, but if that becomes your thing, now you can still do that, okay? So maybe your thing is coffee cups, and you're drinking out of a different coffee cups, and your podcast is called Coffee Talk, even though I know that was a 1980s Saturday Night Live sketch with Mike Myers, but still, no, they're not going to know that. Copyright infringement's not coming for you on that one. But like the same kind of thing. So maybe it's Coffee Talk. Or maybe, you know, our music people start out every day showing as just like a new instrument thing. So like today, ooh, look what I've got. It's this new thing, right? I did a model of one of those and I got a mandolin for free. And it plays like a free mandolin. But it's cool. Mandolin, most kids haven't seen a mandolin. Most grown-ups haven't seen a mandolin. So like, here, this is kind of cool. And listen, this is how you hold it. And this is how it sounds. And if I do this, it changes the notes, you know? And it may not, even if you're a musician or if you like to cook things or whatever, you know, those are the kinds of things where maybe you have a podcast and the first chunk of it is just totally off task. Just totally. Let these be something, build something in that makes the students want to come watch them. Okay. And I don't mean to pick on anybody's content. I did this with math, right? They don't always come to my class to see math. Sometimes they come to my class for other reasons. And I want to use that as best as I can, because however they want to come, I want them there. I want them to want to be there. Okay, so if you can infuse 3 minutes a week of you talking about whatever, that there can be value in that. That's part of the, you know, and you call it, like I said, coffee talks or the Brooks Minute. I mean, these aren't good, but I'm just saying. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, in as much as you're able, attend to production quality in ways that are low maintenance, okay? You don't want to necessarily have to get into having like external mics that have the little pads over the top and all these other things. But at the same time, have some good lighting. Like, record in a spot where the lighting's not so bad. If you've got access to an external mic so that you're not hearing, you know, ambient noises, especially if you're recording from home. Like, if it becomes break time in my house, it's liable to get to Lego mania right through that door. And my kids are enthusiastic. So if I'm using my ambient audio, they may hear that. And that may not be the type of imperfections that I'm looking to use. So having the external mic to manage that audio quality is important for me. Also, camera, in as much as you're able, get that thing right at eye level. Okay, and sometimes this doesn't mean anything more than stacking some books under your laptop. Like, get that thing so that you're looking at the camera rather than down at the camera or up at the camera, okay? This is not a view of you that people are going to want to come watch over and over again, right? So if you can manage that stuff. if like I have been breaking my own rule here, but I've got a lot of clutter behind me, and that's just the nature of the room that I'm kind of working in. Okay. But I've seen teachers that they just hang a bulletin board, or they turn their desk space so that they're working with like a nice earth tone wall behind them. And then they've got the ability to hang something, maybe just a simple piece of poster board that has stuff taped on it, for this week. We're going to just stick a picture of whatever. Okay. I mean, you don't have to do that, but I'm just saying, like, try and find ways to monitor the production quality. There's a tool here. There's a tool that I want to show off called Incompetech, which is a royalty-free music site. So you could get a little music going in the background. Pick a song that you like and get a little music going in the background so that people have the ability to, there's just a little bounce to your video. And it wouldn't be any more difficult than just getting the song started and record. And then you're recording with the song in the background. Like, it's not, you just got to pick the song that you want to listen to. You can't, especially if you're going to YouTube, you can't do that with licensed music because that's illegal. But like, you can do that with, it's illegal if you don't have the permission of the artist. If you happen to know Metallica and they've given you permission, get it in writing, and then you can use Metallica songs. Okay. But like, this is all royalty free, this link, and there's hundreds of songs of all different kinds. There's mystery, and there's suspense, and there's thrillers, and there's, light little classical pieces and slower piano pieces, and like big orchestra numbers and things that sound like game shows. Like, whatever. And all he asks is that you give him credit. And he even tells you exactly how to give him credit. So you just copy and paste the credit thing onto a Word document and say at the end, hey guys, we'll see you later. And just to keep in mind, this is the music we had today is from Kevin MacLeod, film music. You can see his information there. And then cut your video and you're good. So it's that kind of stuff that, like, it's cheap, it's easy, it's low key, it's high, it's low maintenance, it's high value, and it doesn't. And when you do that, the difference between a video that is likely to kind of get people maybe tuning out and not really caring all that much, and a video that's like quite good and has the students continuing to want more, you're right, that's what you want. And so with some of these, just focusing a little bit on some of these little tricks, you can really, really benefit yourself. And so, like, first thing in the morning, I don't know if you've ever been in a call with me first thing in the morning, but I got this light. It comes in. This window faces south, and so it's really dark in my office first thing in the morning, and I'll have this light on, and it just washes me completely out. Like, my complexion's pretty light in general anyway, and so a nice white light on my face with dark all in the background, it's like, right? And like, that's not the look we're going for. So I know that if I've got to record or be on camera early in the morning, I've got to turn the light on in my office. And the only way I've learned that is by having that camera on, like I'm right there and looking at myself while I teach, which at times feels a little narcissistic, I guess. But like, you got to know, like, if I sit up here, no one can see my eyes. So if I go down here, it controls the glare. Now they can see my eyes. Okay. Like, it's that kind of stuff. Like, just think about those kinds of things. Like, if you're someone who talks with their eyes a lot, like while you're talking, you're doing this, and you want the kids thinking about something, like having that glare on is going to ruin that effect, because you just look like a Peanuts character at this point. You know what I'm saying? Like Marcy, and all they see is just eyes over you. You may as well have sunglasses on. So it's that kind of stuff that, as you get into the screencasting bit, you may want to really consider how you can take these. And that's why I say to you, don't think of yourself as an online teacher. Think of yourself as a podcaster. Think of yourself as a YouTuber. Okay. And then you really start, it just changes the way you think about this stuff. And then, I don't know if you can tell, but like, have some fun with this stuff a little bit. Like, this can be a long year if we don't find some things to have a little bit of fun with. And so if you're okay getting a little bit, have some fun with it. It's the same thing you do in your classroom. Goodness, on a Friday, a nice fall Friday when your kids have given you 4 full days of work, you're going to go in and be a little bit goofier, it's the way it goes. And so don't be afraid to like podcast this way too. It'll help, in my opinion.